If you've been on the golf side of the internet this week, you've probably seen the wild headlines. People claiming Brooks Koepka is caught in a massive cheating scandal at the Cognizant Classic. Let me stop you right there. It is 100% fake news. People are just recycling a minor caddy incident from the 2023 Masters to get clicks. But the truth is, the PGA Tour is in massive trouble this week, and the other golfers are furious with Brooks Koepka. But it has absolutely nothing to do with cheating on the golf course. The locker room isn't mad about the rules of golf. They are mad about the rules of the PGA Tour. When a player leaves for LIV Golf and wants to come back, the standard rule is a mandatory 1-year suspension. But when Brooks Koepka decided he wanted to play in his hometown event at the Cognizant Classic, the PGA Tour miraculously found a loophole called the returning member program to let him skip the line and play immediately. And the guys who stayed loyal to the tour are absolutely losing their minds. Guys like Hideki Matsuyama and Wyndham turned down hundreds of millions of dollars to protect the PGA Tour, only to watch Monahan roll out the red carpet for the guy who left. We have the unedited press conference audio of Matsuyama openly questioning the PGA Tour's integrity, and why this Kepka loophole could permanently destroy the tour's relationship with its top stars. Subscribe and hit the bell right now. If you want to know why the locker room is turning into a civil war, click that button. Let's look at the betrayal. Something just shifted fundamentally inside the PGA Tour, and the tension is impossible to ignore. The energy is entirely different. The locker room feels hostile, and the private conversations between players have completely fractured. This isn't just another passing storyline about swing mechanics, world rankings, or who is currently leading the FedEx Cup points race. This is much bigger, and it threatens to tear the fabric of professional golf right down the middle. It's a story about blind loyalty, hundreds of millions of dollars, and what the tour actually stands for in this new ruthless era. And the way the front office is handling this explosive situation is exactly what has everyone talking. I promise you, once we pull back the curtain on these hidden details, you are going to see exactly why this specific moment will dictate the future of the sport. The undercover expose. The absolute center of this firestorm is the return of Brooks Koepka. When the 5-time major champion stepped back onto PGA Tour grass, it didn't just make headlines. It acted as a lightning rod for years of pent-up frustration. Some players welcomed him back with open arms, acting like the last 3 years never even happened. Others are absolutely furious, and they are starting to talk. The spark that ignited this powder keg was a highly controversial anonymous article published in Golf Digest, titled The Undercover Pro. The tone of the piece was not subtle, and it poured absolute gasoline on the fire. This anonymous tour veteran essentially mocked the carefully crafted public relations narrative that Kepka is sacrificing a massive fortune just to be allowed back on the tour. The PR machine wanted fans to believe Brooks was taking a massive hit, but the guys inside the ropes know the real math, and they are not buying a single word of it. The $90 million illusion. The official line from the PGA Tour is that Kepka is walking away from more than $90 million in lost compensation under their strict new returning member program. On paper, that sounds like a brutal punishment. He is being forced to hand over a $5 million charitable donation, and he has to completely surrender 5 years of potential equity grants under the tour's newly established, highly lucrative player equity program. To the casual fan, it looks like he is paying a heavy toll for his defection. But here is the exact part that has loyal PGA Tour guys rolling their eyes in disgust. Most of that $90 million figure is completely theoretical. It's built on future equity, potential performance bonuses. It is not cold hard cash being pulled out of his bank account. And when you look at the actual cash he secured over the last few years, the narrative completely falls apart. The heist of the century. When Kepka shocked the world and jumped ship to LIV Golf back in 2022, he didn't do it for theoretical equity. He did it for an astronomical, fully guaranteed signing bonus reported to be well north of $100 million. On top of that staggering upfront cash, he reportedly earned somewhere between 60 and 70 million more in tournament winnings during his 3-year stint with the Saudi-backed league. So, when the tour's executives try to frame his return as a heroic $90 million sacrifice, the guys who stayed loyal view it as a direct insult to their intelligence. Brooks Koepka doesn't have to face a massive suspension. He doesn't have to endure the grueling gauntlet of Q School. He doesn't have to slum it on the Corn Ferry Tour to earn his card back. He essentially took a 3-year, 9-figure paid vacation and waltzed right back through the front door. The Wyndham Clark reality check. This glaring lack of real consequences prompted some of the tour's brightest current stars to stop biting their tongues. Wyndham Clark stepped up to the microphone and absolutely refused to sugarcoat the situation. He bluntly stated that if the tour had originally told players they could leave for a year and a half, make absolute generational wealth, and then just walk back in with a slap on the wrist, almost every single guy in the locker room would have taken the deal. That statement hits incredibly hard because it exposes the hollow nature of the loyalty the tour demanded during the peak of the LIV war. Analyst Brandel Chambly echoed this frustration, arguing that letting Kepka return without any real friction completely destroys the meritocratic foundation that the PGA Tour was built upon. If there is no real consequence for leaving, what was the point of staying? The Rolap mastermind. To understand why this is happening, you have to look directly at the man who is pulling the strings. In 2025, Brian Rolap was brought in as the first ever CEO of the PGA Tour. Rolap isn't a lifelong golf insider bound by country club traditions. He spent 22 years as a high-level executive in the National Football League. He comes from a cutthroat, optimization-focused world where the only things that matter are the television product and maximizing shareholder value. To Rolap, the sports business is simple. You put the absolute best product in front of the fans, and everything else takes care of itself. He knows that a PGA Tour without Brooks Koepka, Jon Rahm, and Bryson DeChambeau is a fundamentally weaker product. The anonymous undercover pro actually gave Rolap credit for this move. Under previous leadership, Kepka would probably still be stuck in endless litigation and limbo. But Rolap wanted his stars back on the television screen, and he bulldozed the red tape to make it happen. The legends co-sign. While the rank-and-file players are counting the money they missed out on, the game's true titans are looking at the bigger picture. Billy Horschel openly stated he doesn't have a problem with the return. Beloved veterans like Fred Couples and Max Homa posted simple, powerful messages welcoming Brooks back to the fold. And the fans completely validated Rolap's strategy. When Kepka teed it up at Torrey Pines and PGA National, the galleries were electric. His reception was overwhelmingly positive. But the ultimate stamp of approval came from the most influential voice in the history of the sport. Tiger Woods publicly called Kepka's return a massive win for everyone involved. Woods emphasized that true golf fans want the absolute best players competing against each other. Period. Now, the world gets to watch Kepka hunt down Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy on Sundays again. The PGA Tour is currently walking a razor-thin tightrope. Seeing Brooks Koepka back in the mix undeniably makes the season more electric. Imagine the Sunday leaderboards at the upcoming majors, with all the heavyweights finally trading blows again. But at the same time, you cannot ignore the guys who turned down hundreds of millions of dollars out of pure loyalty, only to watch the rebels return as conquering heroes. This moment feels like the ultimate turning point for the identity of professional golf. Is this just a one-off exception for a superstar? Or is this the official blueprint for a total reunification that brings back every major LIV defector? We are watching the complete rewriting of the sports rulebook in real time. Let me know exactly what you think down in the comments. Was this handled the right way? Or did the PGA Tour completely sell out the players who stayed loyal?